2 weeks ago, after the last webinar, I received an astrological newsletter starting with one of the common mistakes that even professional astrologers make is to mix up the meaning of planets, signs, and houses. While signs, planet, and houses share common themes, signs are not planet and are not houses. Let's take Aquarius. Since the discovery of Aquarius, astrologers have started to borrow Uranian qualities and attribute them to Aquarius, to the point that now Aquarius and Uranus have become interchangeable. But Aquarius is not Uranus, etc. End of quote. The blogger was more aggressive than usual, but I respect him and thus started to wonder if during our last webinar I was clear enough while discussing Pluto and, of course, Scorpio, and plan to bring clarification in March for the next webinar. Then, a few days ago, the blogger was back to my consciousness through an email stating Virgo, just like Gemini, is ruled by Mercury. With Virgo, we don't have the Gemini intellect, cerebral approach. Virgo's knowing is anchored in nature and matter. This is in bold. If Gemini is our brain, Virgo is our gut, also called the second brain. Gemini is our brain, Virgo is our gut. I flinched. Was this a writer's quick shortcut in haste and rushing to publish yet another newsletter? I feel a fundamental error. And being tired of reading errors in the understanding of spiritual mechanisms, I decided to voice my thoughts. The shortcut can be very misleading to beginners. Using the verb to feel is important, as I do feel the energies, frequencies, planets, enough to distinguish what they are and trigger. In the website Hopkins Medicine, we read the enteric nervous system doesn't seem capable of thought as we know it, but it communicates back and forth with our big brain. The enteric nervous system triggers big emotional shifts experienced by people coping with irritable bowel syndrome and functional bowel problems such as constipation, diarrhea, bloating, pain, and stomach upset. For decades, this is where it's interesting, researchers and doctors thought that anxiety and depression contributed to these problems. But our studies and others show that it may also be the other way around. Researchers are finding evidence that irritation in the gastrointestinal system may send signals to the central nervous system that trigger mood changes. Well, Virgo is connected to the small intestines, in which food is broken down to allow nutrients absorption. Gods are positioned at the level of the third chakra, power, self knowledge, assertiveness. We all know at this point the impact of power struggle on abdominal health and pain. Why would one person out of many get sick after eating the same meal? Most probably because he or she had a fight or is karmically connected in matters of power to another member of the group. If there is a karma, God's memory is then involved. First, the brain is energetically linked to Aries and the first house. What is then the difference between Mercury in Gemini and Mercury in Virgo? The planet, any planet, is affected by the sign in which it travels. Similarly, when you visit a friend or family, you try to adapt to house rules, right? Gemini expresses the essential human duality. It is connected to two arms, two hands, pair of legs. The twins, sometimes called the quarrelers, learn to support each other with hands and arms. In the illusory zodiac path, the beginners travel from Aries to Taurus to Gemini. Follow the zodiac. Three more signs are necessary before landing in Virgo territory. Gemini addresses the need for disciples or beginners to face 3D reality and duality. In Gemini, the soul experiments, choosing right or left, yes or no, when facing simple desires and impulses. Another detail to support this concept is that on the zodiacal wheel, Gemini lays across, balances Sagittarius. We know that signs are always working in pairs. Sagittarius is turned towards the sky, heaven. Across from Gemini, one relates with heaven, the other one with earth and 3D. Gemini relates to 3D. The twins are sometimes referred as or known as lower, higher self, Alice Bailey, for instance, or body and soul. However, Gemini ruling the lungs, the breath, thus the oxygenation of the blood is, in my view, more connected to horizontal alignment, which is balancing self in 3D reality. You learn through your desires in the physical world. In Chinese medicine, lungs and guts are working together. In integrative healing, the lungs are affected when an individual loses interest in life in 3D, which shows eventually as a depleted first chakra, not third, which connects with the guts. Gemini as Taurus and Aries, which both have horns, two horns, is one of the dual signs, where Virgo and Scorpio are not dual. After incarnating, the soul passes signs defined by two animals, a bull and a ram, and then two human children. Say differently, while Gemini looks for horizontal alignment, Virgo has to do with vertical alignment and the merging of heaven and earth, a job requiring a higher, more conceptual level of the mind. In Scorpio, which astrological symbol doesn't show duality, the not so beginner must confront inner duality. The type and level of lessons is completely different from the challenges offered by Gemini. Challenges, experiences. Both Virgo and Scorpio are linked to the secrets of initiation. Gemini is not. One of the connections between Gemini and the gods is that Gemini rules the nervous system, the medium allowing communication between brain and guts. Why is then Virgo an earth sign? Both Gemini and Virgo are located on the mutable cross that deals with personality, duality, and form. The most important role of the Virgo, however, as an earth sign, is its vibrational and archetypal connection with the feminine and Great Mother energy. Virgo is an adult, an aspect of the feminine, connected to form and to the vessel that received the male divine impulse. The feminine is the womb in which creation blooms and later supports human life. Virgo holds traditionally an ear of wheat, reminding us of fertility goddesses providing food and abundance. However, Virgo, as per its name, is not a sexual character. Virgo's energy and purpose is to serve, not to focus on human desires and instincts. Virgo surrenders to the divine, creating through the universal heart mind and the word. When done with counting, organizing, typical Virgo allows Mercury to play its higher purpose. Mercury, in mythology, created the lyre, the musical instrument. For the full story, see the book Creator God, the story of Lyra. Mercury, the creator of the lyre, transmits the higher frequencies of the galactic heart mind, the music of the spheres. Virgo's intelligence is then connected to pure divine mind. Remember, Mercury is also Thoth or Hermes. Gemini approaches the feminine energy through Venus, its esoteric ruler. Yet, as we have often discussed, Venus in its first level, being the sexual opposite of Mars, is deeply linked to duality. Additionally, in its relationship with the Sun, Venus is involved in the building of form within the realm of duality and what I call the lower triangle, the three lower chakras connected, associated with the reversed five-pointed star. Later on the spiritual path, Venus going in and out of the sun's energy can link the soul to the solar self or monad. Let's not forget that Venus also rules Taurus and Libra. Taurus, until illumination, is life in the body, life incarnated. And until it reaches the opposite, the balance with in the sign Libra, itself connected to spiritual North, Taurus is focused on enjoying life on Earth. Why does Mercury rule Aries esoterically? Because of the connection Aries head brain. Aries is the first impulse of life, and at the cosmic level, creation. The Creator God says, I am, and I launch my intent. Now, another note to complete the loop, the onset of this discussion. How are signs and planets interconnected? Why do we tend to blend them? Well, level. We must always define on what plane, vibrational plane, we are looking. Think levels or context. Each sign synthesizes an aspect of the divine as embodied through a constellation. We are thus speaking about galactic level, the Milky Way. Constellations are part of the Milky Way. Earth and humankind are part of a chain. All is interdependent. Think cosmos, universes, galactic clusters, Milky Way, then solar system. The divine and original intent flows successively downward, we could say, through the cosmos, from the infinite to the microscopic levels. A frequency trickles down through layers of consciousness. Cosmic frequencies and later archetypes are then anchored through the planets, thus interconnectedness and similarities always. A few words now excerpted from Esoteric Astrology as a conclusion. Well, these are my words. In the illusory path of the neophyte, as chartered or imposed by the zodiac, quote, the energies of the 12 constellations are blended with those of the 12 planets, but their power to evoke response and to be consciously received, recognized, and employed is dependent entirely upon the type of response mechanism of the planetary life and of the individual man. End of quote. Let's not forget that everything in life is multidimensional. We have mentioned the horned bull represented by Taurus. Taurus can be both primary incarnation, yet when his eyes is open, the eyes of illumination, the frequency moves to a different plane, manifesting the Creator's will, and when required, the body of the avatar. Be blessed.